There's something revolutionary in this idea, which I know sounds grandiose, but we genuinely want to shift the way in which people think and feel about theatre and performance. How do you express who you are? What are the things that matter to you? And how do we celebrate those events and forms?
New Popular is a 5-year initiative. I think in this first year we had no big agenda of what we hoped would happen, what we'd hoped we'd see, and what we wanted to do is to put our ambitions out there and just to see how artists responded to that. So we did this with a call out to look for artists who were interested in putting the audience at the very heart of their work and its creation, and to be mischievous about where their work might take place, what it could be.
And it's nice to have something that's interactive, that's a little bit performance-based, especially the last game we played, that the public can get involved with, isn't just for other performers.
One of the things I think we're particularly interested about in the South East is towns and small communities. I'm really curious about how those communities express who they are. What cultural events do they use, particularly in places where there isn't a kind of art centre or a theatre? And how do we help and share with them those kind of models of expression? That's what New Popular's partly about, is celebrating people and place in a way that is relevant and political, but also of the highest possible standard.
Good evening, and welcome to the Terrapura ground, home of the Mighty Hawks.
I'm at the White Hawk Football Club, and behind me we're setting up for a benefit night for the White Hawk Food Bank. We produce a little bit of work, some R&D, and instead of doing it in a theatre space, we want to do it in the communities that we might be doing the shows in.
You are White Hawk, super White Hawk, from White Hawk.
Nothing like this has ever happened at this football club before. They were saying they're very excited, a little bit worried, don't know what's going to happen, but we have sold a lot of tickets, so that's good. So we'll raise some money and we'll get people to see our show and see how it goes.
Are you acting now? How dare you?
We took a slightly different approach in supporting Third Angel to develop the Desire Path project in Slough. And what Third Angel did was recreate the street map of Slough with local residents renaming their streets or reclaiming their streets. Once again, it was good to have high street partners involved. It felt celebratory, people were stopped in their tracks, sharing their stories of the streets they grew up on or the streets they've now come to live in. Local performers were involved in that, and they continue to work with those partners in Slough to develop new work for the community. In terms of how we've engaged these audiences, we have been pretty stealthy about this, which feels right as we test out new approaches. One of the projects that probably best describes this is Mannequin, which was developed by Miss High Leg Kick. We supported her as an artist and Colchester Arts Centre to work together to develop a piece that would take place in the Fenwick department store on Colchester High Street. Definitely a piece of contemporary work. What we enjoyed was that it involved all generations, that children were performers as well as the professional adults. Every artist has a community partner on board. In some cases that's a theatre or local venue, in other cases it's a football club, it's a shopping centre. But they are organisations within that community and that location that share the ambition of creating something new in that community setting. And that's been key to the success of this work, and it's something that we're repeating going forwards in the new year. And we found that our role is about brokering those partnerships.
All I know about myself is that I did like stewed prunes.
I think I liked tea.
I've seen myself eat a sausage roll.
just felt really special. The intimacy of the stories, and I think the way that the production brought it out in people just felt really magical, and there was a real energy and a warmth between everyone.
Whilst we originally said we were trying to get to new audiences, and that's still true, we're trying to get to people who don't normally go to the theatre, I think we want to create events that everyone can access should they choose.
Wearing Mums Makeup is a project where we're trying to engage local community mums back into the theatre and trying to get them to make an autobiographical piece of work about themselves. The content's being obviously decided by the mums, and that's going to be navigated themselves, but when we eventually do the final showing, the format itself is a cabaret format, because cabaret is my queer practice, my background. What I find is that it's the most liberating of practices, because you don't feel like inhibited by the pressures of theatre. You're on a round table, you can have a drink, you can have some food. You're kind of allowing people the opportunity to feel themselves in an almost utopic space.
Thanks to Esme Fairbairn, who's backed this idea, because they're committed to encouraging us to take a risk, to try and do something differently, to try and find a way of ensuring that theatre's useful to more people. It's called New Popular on a very simple idea, that it's possible to create work that is contemporary, that is relevant, but that also people might want to go and see. And I think too often those are seen as opposites, and they're not.